the crack, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's Kazzie, and in this video I'm going to be doing my summer book haul. The last book haul that I did back in June was a accumulation of all the books that I gathered in the previous 6 months. So today's book haul is what I got over the past 2 to 3 months. When I thought about doing this book haul, I didn't think it was that many, but it actually turned out to be a bit more than I had previously thought. So without further ado, let's just get into them. The first books that I have to talk to you guys about are the ones that I have actually repurchased, so I'm going to get those out of the way quickly so we can move on to the other ones. And the first one of those books was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. This is the 20th anniversary edition, and this is in the Ravenclaw colours. If you guys don't know, I am a Ravenclaw, and it has the scarf edges, and on the back it has wit, learning and wisdom, which are the key things of being a Ravenclaw. Next up, I have the new editions of the Grisha Trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. These are the new paperback editions with the new covers, which I definitely prefer to the other covers. I prefer these because they really encompass what the whole trilogy is about, especially with the design on front. You have the stag, the sea serpent, and then like a firebird, and they are very pivotal to what actually happens in the Grisha Trilogy, and I love the Grisha Trilogy beyond words, and so any editions that I can get my hands on, I will. So I repurchased them in these beautiful, beautiful editions. So those were the repurchases, so in no particular order I'm going to just dive on in. And the first books that I have to show you are the next two books in the DC Icon series, which include Catwoman Soul Stealer and Batman Nightwalker by Mary Lou and Sarah J Maas respectively. If you don't know what the DC Icon series is, it is a book series which features 4 YA authors using 4 DC icons. The first one was Wonder Woman, which Leigh Bardugo wrote about, Batman from Marie Lu, the third one Catwoman by Sarah J Maas, and the fourth one is Superman by Matt De La Pena. I think he's going to be writing that book. Batman obviously follows Bruce Wayne. He is 18 years old and he has just come into the Wayne Billions. He meets his enigmatic girl called Madeline while doing community service in Arkham Asylum. Why is doing community service in Arkham Asylum, I hear you ask? You're gonna have to read the book. He meets Madeline and she kind of plays this kind of cat and mouse game with Bruce, and so that kind of sows the seeds for him becoming Batman in the future. He is not Batman in this book, he is just Bruce Wayne, teenager. Whereas Catwoman Soul Stealer follows Selena Kyle when she is 17 and 19 years old respectively. She returns to Gotham City as this socialite that she has created this persona around. She teams up with Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn and just, you know, play around with Gotham while Batman is away. Batman does not feature in this, which I thoroughly enjoyed because it just meant that it wasn't going to be such a cat and mouse game with Batman and Catwoman like most storylines are with them. This actually features Batwing instead, so there's a nice little tidbit for you. This book, it gave me a lot of Arrow vibes. If you haven't watched Arrow, you might not get that, but it really did, and I just love these covers so much. They are beautiful, and I prefer these editions to the paperback ones, which actually feature, you know, like a Batman uniform and then the Catwoman kind of uniform. I prefer these so much more. They're so much more enigmatic and beautiful, and this one is actually signed by Sarah J Maas. She signed the book plate which went inside of it, and I love these books so much. I've read them, and if you haven't watched my August wrap up, I will have it linked here for you guys because I read them in August. Next I have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I have not read this book, I just love this edition. I have been wanting to read Rebecca, I've been wanting to read more classics, and I've heard about this from A Clockwork Reader, Hannah's channel. I just thought it would be a very good read, and just the idea of it just was really intriguing to me. It follows this woman who is very much nameless, and it follows her marrying this man and moving to his house, and it's haunted by his late wife Rebecca. I thought it was very intriguing. It seems like it's going to be a perfect read for October, and just look at this edition. Just look at it. Isn't it gorgeous? Kind of matches my makeup a little bit. Maybe. I also picked up the Book of Three, which is the first book in the Chronicles of Prydain series by Lloyd Alexander. If you don't know what the Chronicles of Prydain are about, if you've ever watched The Black Cauldron by Disney, this is what that story was based off of. It's actually based off of Book 3, is called The Black Cauldron. It follows this pig keeper called Taran, who is an assistant pig keeper actually, until Henwin, the magical pig, disappears. And with the land of Prydain under threat by the evil Horn King, he goes in search of Henwin, and he goes on this dangerous quest, coming face to face with warriors and witches, a princess called Elanui. I loved The Black Cauldron when I was growing up. It's the darkest movie that Disney has ever come out with, but I just love the animation of it, the design of it. I just love it. And Princess Elanui, she's so feisty, and you know, she has this magical orb that follows her around, which I love. And so I wanted to, you know, read the series. I actually didn't know it was a series until I looked it up on Wikipedia. I found it was a book, so here we are. I have it. Ah no, the pages are ruined. Shite. I also picked up the 20th anniversary edition of Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. I have never read anything by Philip Pullman before in my life. I just decided one day to pick it up because it is a gorgeous edition. I love the colours of it. I really want to read it. I've heard a lot of things about his Dark Materials series. Lyra and her animal demon live half wild and carefree among the scholars of Jordan College, Oxford. Her destiny will take her to the frozen lands of the Arctic where witch clans reign and ice bears fight. And the extraordinary journey that awaits her will have immeasurable consequences far beyond her own world. Fascinating. A bit of a random one, but I also picked up The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. I have heard nothing about this on BookTube. I actually stumbled across it when just perusing through Amazon. This sounds so amazing. First off, I love the design of this. I love the typography of it. If you don't know, I'm a bit of a design snob. This follows Mary Jekyll, alone and penniless following her parents' death, quickly finds herself drawn to the secrets of her father's mysterious past. A clue leads her to believe that Edward Hyde, her father's former friend and a murderer, may be nearby. And there still is a reward for information leading to his capture, a reward which would solve all her immediate financial woes. But her hunt leads her not to Edward Hyde, but to Diana, his daughter, a near feral child left to be raised by nuns. With the assistance of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, Mary continues her search for the elusive Hyde and soon gathers around her more women, all of whom have been created through terrifying experiments. Beatrice Rappaccini, Catherine Moreau, and Justine Frankenstein. When their investigations lead them to the discovery of a secret society of immoral and power-crazed scientists, the horrors of their past soon arrive on their doorstep as well, and now it is up to the five of them to stop the malicious machinations of the Société des Alchimistes. Quite simply, it is time for the monsters to triumph over the monstrous. What? It takes like some of the most literary characters and give them offspring and proteges. I am living for this whole thing. Mary Jekyll, Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson, Diana Hyde. This just sounds like it's going to be a whirlwind read. It could be ridiculously stupid. I don't care. I am very excited to read this. Next up is Life by J. Kristoff. I really don't know anything about this except that I have another J. Kristoff book on my shelves that I have yet to read, but I really do want to read, but I'm kind of scared of reading it because he seems to be like the master of the dark and twisted and gory, and as much as I want to live for that, I'm a bit of a chicken. When Eve finds the ruins of an android boy named Ezekiel in the scrap pile she calls home, her entire world comes crashing down when her best friend and a robotic sidekick in tow, she and Ezekiel will trek across deserts of irradiated glass, battle cyborg assassins, and scar abandoned mega cities to save the ones she loves and learn the dark secrets of her past. Just a nice little fluffy read there, apparently. Got it to go with the other J. Kristoff book I haven't read yet. At the end of July, the start of August, I started watching a few episodes of Merlin again, and if you don't know me, I loved Merlin when it was on BBC. I particularly loved Morgause and Morgana. They were my favourite characters until it literally just turned into a wump section on Morgana. After watching those episodes, I really wanted to read more Arthurian books. I wanted to read Arthurian books that wouldn't infuriate me, because any of the ones that I have previously read, besides The Mists of Avalon, just made Arthur just seem like this guy that would just ride in on his horse and solve everybody's problem with just one swish of his sword. And then of course Morgause dies. Spoiler alert, Morgause always dies. I decided to really give it another shot. I bought two books that are like Arthurian retellings, and the first one is The Once and Future King by T.H. White. This is basically Sword in the Stone, and it is chunky. This is actually a bind up of several books. It has The Sword in the Stone, The Witch in the Wood, The Ill-Made Knight, The Candle in the Wind, and The Book of Merlin. It's gonna be like a quite a read, and like the text is The text is tiny compared to other books. I actually did a Google search on books that had more ghosts in them, and apparently this one has more ghosts in it somewhere. I cannot tell you where, but I'm hoping that it's a better story than some of the other Arthurian legend books that I have read, and I'm very much looking forward to reading it. And the other one is Queen of Camelot by Nancy Mackenzie. This is more the story of Guinevere and how she became Arthur's wife and how she betrayed him, you know, the whole like Lancelot and Guinevere story. But also, I think more ghost features in this as well. At the side of King Arthur, Guinevere reigns strong and true, yet she soon learns that the dark prophecy will reveal itself. She is unable to conceive. Arthur's only true heir is Mordred, offspring of a cursed encounter with the witch Morgause. Now Guinevere makes a fateful choice, to raise a child as her own, to teach him to be a ruler and to honour Camelot. Mordred would be her greatest joy and the key to her ultimate downfall. I just love that Morgause is so wickedly evil in all of these books. I don't care that she's evil, I don't care that she's a bad guy, I just adore how deliciously evil she is, and I can't wait to see what she does in this. I also bought a play during the summer, and that was La Casa de Bernarda Alba by Federico Garcia Lorca. The House of Bernarda Alba by Federico Garcia Lorca. I read this play back when I was in high school doing my AS levels. I enjoyed it back then. I didn't really love it, mostly because I was studying it and I was having to like figure out how to write about it in Spanish. Now I actually have this edition which has one side in Spanish and the other side fully translated into English, which I loved when I saw it in Waterstones and just had to pick it up. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I could learn so much more from this just to see it in kind of like a context. But if you don't know the story of La Casa de Bernarda Alba, it follows Bernarda Alba and her 5 daughters, Angustias, Magdalena, Martirio, Amelia and Adela. And their father has just died, her second husband has just died, and they enter into their period of mourning. But there is like gossip going all around the town about the guy that is interested in Angustias, and they just think, oh, he's just interested in her for her money that she inherited from her father, which was Bernarda's first husband. Bernarda would not have anything salacious or malicious said about her daughters. There would be no gossip about her, and yet she gossips about everybody else. There is scandal going on within the house that she doesn't know about, and it's all about that. And the last book that I have to show you guys is one that I did not know was out. I went into Waterstones and just saw this and just had to pick it up. And that was My Girls, A Lifetime with Carrie and Debbie by Todd Fisher. I did not know that this book was going to be made, but it's all about Todd Fisher. He is right there. Apparently my hand was covering up him up the whole time. About his life with Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. I love both of those women. Carrie Fisher was a big part of my life because, of course, I love Star Wars. Debbie Reynolds, Singing in the Rain, Will and Grace. She was just an icon. I have read all of Carrie Fisher's books, so I kind of get an idea of what it was like for her being in her head. Whereas this book is all about Todd and what he went through with his superstars for a mother and a sister and a father really as well. It has some beautiful photos inside it. Like, just look at that. That's just an adorable family photo. And some other... On the back of it, it has like this from the introduction. I've started writing this memoir several times over a lot of years, but it took on a new urgency in December of 2016 when my sister and my mother suddenly died a day apart. Now it's not just a memoir anymore, it's a long love letter and thank you note to the 2 most pivotal, extraordinary women I've ever known. It was hardwired in me from the day I was born that they were my girls, and they always will be. As a family activist by default, I owe my girls a thorough, honest, unapologetic account of the life I've lived with them and without them, because neither of them would have tolerated anything less from me. If that's what the introduction is going to do to me just from reading this book is going to absolutely destroy me, because I lost my father about a month before Carrie Fisher died, so yeah, it's going to be emotional. It's definitely going to be an emotional read for me. So there you have it, guys. Those are all of the books that I bought during the summer. Let me know if any of these books are ones that you've been wanting to buy for yourself or read for yourself, or if there are any editions of the books that you want to get to, like the Grisha ones, because I was waiting a long time for those. As soon as I saw that those editions were coming out on Healing Bookland's channel, I was like, I need to get my hands on them, but it would be a couple months before they'd be out in the UK and Ireland, because we always get everything ridiculously late. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video.